In the interest of time, good morning, everybody. We're going to get started on a couple of the resolutions, and then when Commissioner O'Grady gets in, we're going to go back to a ceremonial piece of our agenda, because Commissioner O'Grady is going to handle that piece. But we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, as we always do, led by Commissioner Boyce.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could have the county engineer. And I know we've got a public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Resolution regarding establishing, altering, and widening of Toy Road, Swisher Road, and Saltzgaber Road, Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineered to file plans as necessary.
Okay, and with that, I would like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this hearing?
I have something that was sent to me, and because she has anxiety, so she wanted me to read it for her.
Okay, if you would do so now, that would be great.
To whom it may concern, I write to you today regarding Toy Road, Saltzgaber, and Swisher Road projects. I live at 3590 Toy Road, Groveport, Ohio. Over the past 10 years, plus 10 years, we, the residents of the above-mentioned streets, have been dealing with the excessive amount of vehicle and semi-truck traffic that has been created by the massive warehouses that have been built on Toy Road and surrounding areas. This increase in traffic is from the employees of the warehouses using the country roads as a speedway, roads that were not built for this type of traffic. We have endured property and street damage in very unsafe living conditions. We can no longer safely take a walk down our roads, get our mail, or take the trash to the curb, as these drivers have no regard for human or pet life. They do not slow down, nor do they move over. We also have the added problem of being located in 3 different jurisdictions: Groveport, Madison Township, and Obetz. Over the years, we have written letters, made phone calls, attended countless Groveport City Council, Madison Township trustee, and Obetz trustee meetings with no answers or solution. It wasn't until I contacted Franklin County Engineer Cornell Robertson. He met with me with no hesitation, and he really listened to my concerns. It was shortly after that meeting that we truly felt as if we were going to get help with our ever-growing traffic problems. Engineer Robertson, Chief Deputy Fritz Crozier, and their team have put together what we believe is a solution. They have had an open line of communication with the residents to keep us in loop as what to expect. I have always felt they really have our best interests in mind. I am in agreement with this project and hopeful of getting it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Any other comments? If we don't have any, I will close the public hearing, and would you please read the resolution into the record?
Resolution 457-19, establishing, altering, and widening of Toy Road, Swisher Road, and Saltzgaber Road, Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineered to file plans as necessary.
Good morning, Commissioners. On behalf of Engineer Robertson, my name is Fritz Crozier, Chief Deputy of Engineering. Commissioners, on May 28, 2019, the Board of Commissioners adopted a resolution declaring it necessary to establish, alter, and widen Toy Road, Swisher Road, and Saltzgaber Road. And on June 18, 2019, the Board of Commissioners viewed said establishing, altering, and widening of said roads. This resolution authorizes the engineer to prepare plans as necessary and represents the second step in the legislative process. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
Let me just say, one, I want to commend and recognize the engineer's office for working with the constituents in the area. I think it's very meaningful that letter was expressed, particularly when there are safety concerns and issues. And so I just wanted to thank you for the work, and please pass on to the engineer, I think on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, our appreciation for that kind of engagement. Certainly makes our job easier. So if there are no further comments or questions,
Absolutely.
move for adoption of 457-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 457-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 458-19, authorizing the Franklin County Engineer to enter into a contract modification with Schaefer Pomeroy Ltd. for the Winchester Pike 0.87 over Georges Creek Structure Improvement Project, Franklin County, Ohio, an increase of $51,683 for a revised contract of an amount of $199,949.
Commissioners, as noted, this resolution seeks approval of a contract modification with Schaefer Pomeroy for the Winchester Pike 0.87 bridge over Georges Creek Improvement Project. This modification will allow the consultant to provide additional services to evaluate several bridge alternatives and to also provide additional environmental investigations. Pending any questions, I'd ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 458-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 458-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. And we're going to go back to the beginning of our copy of the agenda for a ceremonial resolution, and I'm going to ask my colleague, Commissioner O'Grady, to talk a little bit about what this is, and with that, Commissioner
Thank you,
O'Grady.
President Brown. This morning we have with us Naresh Vedrevu, I think I said that correctly, with the Federation of Indian Associations of Central Ohio. The FIA is here to recognize we're here to recognize their charitable contribution to Central Ohio in the form of contribution to the Children's Hunger Alliance. The FIA has done fantastic work and has continued to do fantastic work over the years, and charitable works. So if you could please join us at the microphone and introduce your organization, but also if you'd like to introduce others that have joined you this morning. Also attending on behalf of the Children's Hunger Alliance are Judy Mobley, the CEO. I believe she's here. There she is. All right, Judy. Scott Neely, the Director of Government Affairs, and Catherine Stevens, the Vice President of Development. So welcome everybody this morning.
Thank you, Commissioner Grady.
Good morning.
Board of Commissioners, thank you very much for this opportunity for us to be here today. And distinguished guests, I'm going to read a brief statement introducing the organization, and then followed by the survey. The Asian Indian community is grateful to the Central Ohio population for making us feel accepted at home and welcome to raise our families while being productive members of the society. Along with actively contributing to the local economy, we feel thankful and look for opportunities to give back to the society by helping out the needy in a charitable way. To that effect, a non-profit organization, Gitanjali, has been recently established to raise funds by organizing ethnic cultural events periodically. And this organization was established with support from the Federation of Indian Associations, FIA. We have a representative here, the President of FIA, Ram Kasarla. This is a way to keep our cultural roots alive by passing it on to the next generation while helping people who deserve a better standard of living. The Gitanjali Executive Committee reviewed several local charitable organizations and, having identified with its mission, decided on Children's Hunger Alliance to be the beneficiary for this year's efforts. To kick off the efforts, an Indian cultural charity spectacle was organized on Saturday, March 16, 2019, to raise funds. We are happy to report that we had a successful event attended by more than 750 people and raised $10,000 in benefit to the nonprofit organization. We are very honored to be in the presence of Franklin County Board of Commissioners and to have Honorable Commissioner John O'Grady present the check to Children's Hunger Alliance on behalf of Geeta Anjali. I would like to invite Judy Mobley, the CEO for Children's Hunger Alliance, to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As you all know, there are many, many worthy charities out there, so we are certainly grateful and humbled to be selected. They had a lot of choices, but it's pretty easy to get behind our mission, and that is to help the children, not only here in Franklin County, but across Ohio, that really find themselves in poverty and don't know when they'll get to eat next. So thank you all so much for all the work you do. I'd be remiss if I didn't also thank our Franklin County Commissioners who support our work and have been longtime supporters of what we do. So thank you also.
So and I believe there's a check to be presented.
That's right.
I've been working with the FIA and been associated with the FIA for a lot of years now, dating back to my trip to India in 2011, and the FIA has been a very important part of the Central Ohio community, and so we appreciate all that you do for Franklin County and the residents and citizens of this community. So we have a resolution to present to you, and I know that you have a check to present to the Children's Hunger Alliance, so we'd like to come out there. Oh, sorry.
I'd like to invite the members of the Geeta Anjali
Absolutely.
team, starting
Absolutely.
with the president
Wanna
of
Go ahead.
the president of FIA, Ram Kasarla, and from the executive committee, Bharat Jataprolu, Kirti Karra, Ganesh Vatyam, and Sujata Chopra. And if you could also have Catherine Stevens and Scott Neely, please come up here. We'd very much appreciate that.
Yeah, we'd love to come up and get a photo with you. What's that?
I like the blue.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here.
That's just with the camera.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. You're very good. Thank you. There we go. Okay, perfect. Some of those. Perfect. Thank you.
Now that is good news.
Yeah. Great,
And,
great stuff. Great stuff. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, this is also a fun day for me because I have most of the west side of Columbus here. It's like a homecoming.
Hometown.
It's like a homecoming.
Welcoming you back.
So when you grow up on the west side of Columbus, there's there's a few things, especially if you're from Bishop Reedy, there's a few things you know. You know Bishop Reedy High School, you know Wee Bonnie Swimming Pool, Westgate Park, and you know Josie's Pizza. You probably knew somebody in the O'Grady family, or you grew up with them or went to school with them. You definitely knew somebody in the Dawson family. The McAndrew family's here. So my family, we were the largest family to graduate everybody from Bishop Reedy. The Dawson family comes in, I think, maybe third after the Bennetts. With 10, there were 12 of us. I have 11 siblings. I'm the youngest of 12. There were 11 Bennetts. There were 10 Dawsons. How many McAndrews? 9 McAndrews. The McAndrew family's here. So we're here today to honor 40 years of service to Franklinton on the west side of Margie Dawson. Most of us in Franklin County know her big brother Bill, who's sitting in the audience as well. We work with Bill at Franklin Park Conservatory in the Growing to Green program, and everybody knows Bill. But Margie is a West Side institution. I'm the youngest of 12 O'Grady's. Margie, I've known almost my entire life. I met her at Wee Bonnie swimming pool. My parents would drop us off sometimes we had to walk. But my parents would drop us off in the morning, give all of us a little bit of money, maybe if we were lucky, and pick us up for dinner. Back in the days before we knew what sunscreen was. And, you know, we were just kind of a fixture. The McAndrews lived across the street from Wee Bonnie swimming pool. Sometimes we'd sneak over to their house. And I've known Margie literally my whole life. And she's been a fixture at Josie's Pizza. She went there after high school, and she has been a fixture on the west side of Columbus, an institution. And so today we're honoring a lifetime of service. Everybody that knows anybody on the west side of Columbus knows the Dawson family, but knows Margie. She is just one of the most wonderful people you'd ever know. And she retired. And so when she retired, everybody on the west side showed up that day to get a pizza. It was supposed to be a day of celebration. Margie had to work her tail off, including me. Sorry. I showed up that day and bought a couple of pizzas myself and brought my wife and kids and made her work. So we are here today, and the entire Dawson family showed up, and the McAndrew family showed up, and so we have a whole bunch of West Side folks here. I mean, we have all kinds of West Siders here today to celebrate Margie and all the wonderful things that she's done for, you know, this is a testament to her and all that she's done, because the room is full. And when this ceremony is over, the room will be empty. There'll be a few people here. There'll be a few people here to go on with the rest of our agenda, because I'm looking out at the rest of the crowd and there's almost nobody here left to do county business once we're done. So we would love to have Margie come up, and anybody else from the greater west side of Columbus that would like to say anything on behalf of Margie, but the microphone is yours.
We bring you pizza.
Yeah, no, I think her pizza making days are over.
I just really come up, you've said a lot, and I have a hard time not calling you John. So
You can call me John.
Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner President Brown, Commissioner Boyce, thank you for this resolution honoring Margie, baby sister. And I relate to her so much because of the community work I do. She does so much for the west side of Columbus. That institution of Josie's Pizza, everybody thinks she's Josie, she's Margie, but she has made that place not only a place for a family meeting place where we can get all our information and gossip and everything, but community meeting place. She takes packages for folks. They get delivered there so folks have a safe spot to pick up their packages. She supports, you know, certainly the Westgate Farmers Market, the Westgate Jam, the Bean Dinner, the so many organizations, families in crisis that need some fundraising. She's there to support them. So, before I tear up, I just want to thank all of you for this support in honoring Margie.
Bill duped me. Bill told me I was coming here for John O'Grady to get an award from a senator. I don't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, John. But
Thanks, Marge.
I'm just flabbergasted. I'm honored. I'm touched. I'm overwhelmed for everybody being here. You know, I see people trickling in, and I'm like, why are they here today? I mean, I know I like John, but you know. So I
It comes from
appreciate
me,
it, and I'm honored.
They didn't come for me, Marge.
I did.
Well, one final story, and then we want to come up and get a picture with you and all your family.
I don't know if there's
Bill,
enough room.
Bill, that's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll move chairs if we have to. Bill came to my office a few years back, and anybody that's been in my office, and you're all welcome, by the way, if you want to stick around after the meeting. I have a pretty cool view. You can all see what guy from the west side done good. In my office, I have a big, giant metal baseball hanging on the wall that came from the old Franklin County Stadium. It was in here as a display, and I asked him to put it on the wall of my office. It's the old parking sign from, if you remember back in the day, the big baseballs that were up in the parking lot. And Bill came in, and he saw it hanging on the wall of my office, and he said, "Where can I get one of those? Margie needs one of those." And so we arranged for Bill to be able to buy one for his sister, and so she could hang it up at her place. And so Margie there were 3 of them. Mine says parking number 3 on it. Margie's says parking number 1. And I don't know where the other one is. Schottenstein Development has it someplace. Our Schott Development has it someplace.
Mine's
But-
proudly hanging up on South Richardson.
There you go. But the first thing he said was, Margie needs that. So we arranged for Bill to be able to buy that for his little sister. So,
I love it.
yeah.
West Side history right on my garage.
Come on up. Anybody wants to be in the picture? Let's do it. Come on up. Anybody wants to be in the picture?
Try to do this.
Let's get this Browns football t-shirt right in the front row. And don't have you stand next to Commissioner Boyce.
It's all right. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Oh, yeah.
I want the guy in the Browns gear to stand next to Commissioner Boyce. He's a Steelers fan. Commissioner Brown and I.
Oh, you're a big old smile.
Commissioner Brown and I are Browns fans.
I know.
He's a Steelers fan.
Everybody else thinks you're right.
Yeah, well, I can always be seen.
All right, we'll take it at 0 and everybody join in that.
We want to bring them up.
Oh, yeah, I want to bring him up. My girl's up here, my boss.
Girls, come on up.
That's my
I
retirement.
know, I did too at first.
I know.
I thought it was all about Toy Road. I thought it was. What'd you get me into? Yeah, I think it's a tax budget. Yeah, it's a tax budget.
All right, back to you.
Okay,
Told you the
thank
place was gonna be empty.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not. It's
Well, that's because they
everybody
came
was
in,
waiting the
they
hall.
were waiting out in the hallway.
Okay, the sheriff's office.
Resolution 459-19, authorizing a settlement to Danette Bailey Garcia for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving the Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, Director of Administrative Services, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution approves a settlement of a vehicle damage claim from an accident that occurred on May 6, 2019. It's been recommended by Fleet Management and the Prosecutor's Office, and approval of this resolution will provide payment in the amount of $500 to settle the claim.
I just want to say I see Sheriff Baldwin here, and I just want to say Dave does a fine job of representing you each week, and we appreciate. He paid me to say this, by the way. So, if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 459-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution 459-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 460-19, authorizing a settlement to Richard L. Reed for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $1,194.84.
Commissioners, this resolution approves settlement from a vehicle damage claim from an accident that occurred on January 15, 2019. It has been recommended by Fleet Management and the Prosecutor's Office as well. And approval of this resolution will provide payment in the amount of $1,194.84 to settle the claim.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 460-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 460-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 461-19, authorizing a settlement to Kerry Putnam for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $500.
Commissioners, this resolution approves the settlement of a vehicle damage claim from an accident that occurred on June 3rd, 2019. It has been recommended by Fleet Management and the Prosecutor, and approval of this resolution will provide payment in the amount of $500 to settle this claim.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 461-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 461-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 462-19, authorizing a settlement to Joseph Hartfield for a disputed vehicle damage claim due to an auto accident involving Franklin County Sheriff's deputy in the amount of $500.
Commissioners, and finally, the last settlement here approves the settlement of a vehicle damage claim from an accident that occurred on June 1st of this year. It's been recommended by Fleet Management and the Prosecutor, and approval will provide payment in the amount of $500 to settle this claim.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 462-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution 462-19 has been adopted. Resolution 463-19, authorizing agreement with Falcon Correctional and Community Services Incorporated for services necessary for suicide prevention, system analysis, and supervisory training for the care and welfare of inmates in the Franklin County Correction Center facilities in the amount of $19,470.
Commissioners, Falcon Incorporated will review our current suicide prevention system and offer best practice recommendations regarding necessary operational changes for intake, classification, and housing management. They will also offer recommendations on our mental health treatment processes to manage risk. In addition, they will provide supervisory staff training to further mitigate the aforementioned risk. Pending any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 463-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 463-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Absolutely. I meant what I said.
The county auditor.
Resolution 464-19, authorizing a 4-year contract with Wolpert Incorporated and Pictometry International Corporation for oblique aerial photography utilizing non-general funds in the amount of $958,392.
Good morning, President Brown, Commissioners Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady. Thank you for the opportunity to present and ask for your support of this resolution. I do want to introduce Adam Seeley. He's staff counsel. He worked extensively, and we really appreciated purchasing in the prosecutor's office on this contract. Annually, the auditor's office updates our aerial photography for the county, and we're able then to save dollars by not having to go out looking at new construction and new builds. And so this is a resource that's needed. We're very excited. This resolution represents a 12% saving from the last contract we had, and it puts us in a well-timed position for a fall flyover where we need about 30% leaf coverage so you can actually see all the buildings. But this will help our appraisal team. Lance Gates, our Director of Appraisal, and PR Casey, Deputy Chief Staff and Legal Counsel, also here. Very much appreciate your support of this resolution. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Good work, Mr. Auditor. There are no comments or questions. Move for adoption of 464-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 464-19 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for saving tax dollars and getting this done.
More to come.
Job and Family Services.
Resolution 465-19, approving a subaward agreement with Impact Community Action for the Roads to Work training program pilot in the amount of $175,000.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joy Bivens, Director of Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services.
And Vivian Turner, Assistant Director of Job and Family Services.
Commissioners, this resolution will has the scope of, during the pilot phase, to work with 20 low-income residents that will be offered the opportunity to prepare for a career in the trucking industry. Participants will complete an estimated 180 hours of training over a 5-week period. In addition, they will receive wraparound services such as case management, supportive services through the training period, and ongoing and coaching and mentoring over the first 12 months of employment. The total swap aboard agreement is $175,000 in GRF dollars for the time period of May 1st through September 30th, 2019. Both this pilot as well as Building Futures support our third goal in our poverty blueprint plan. And as you all know, that third goal is increasing access to relevant training for credentials that meet local demand with employer commitments to hire and promote. It also touches on the short-term action goal under the third goal, which is expand publicly funded apprenticeships to earn and learn programs. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval of this resolution, and I do want to make mention, Commissioners, that we do have the partners in the room for this program, President Hightower and Mr. Crockett.
Mr. Crockett and Beth Urban.
I'm sorry, Mr. Crockett and Beth
Beth
Irby
Urban from Impact.
from Impact. If you would like for them to say something.
Do they want to say something?
Would you all like to make
Stephanie, that would be the Impact. That would be Impact. Yeah. I get confused.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners Brown and Mr. O'Grady, Commissioner Boyce. My name is Richard Crockett, and I'm with Capital Transportation and the Roads to Work organization. We've been working a number of years with some of the commissioners as well as some of the community agencies regarding an ability to take advantage of a in-demand industry right now, which is the commercial driver training industry. Right now, after a 4-week training program, trucking companies are offering between $50,000 and $60,000 plus benefits to start. after only at 4 weeks of training. It was just recently reported that Walmart hired over 1,000 drivers, making $90,000 a year. And others like Amazon and some of the other larger trucking companies have followed suit. And so what I've tried to do is to try and identify opportunities where some of the underserved people in our community, both those individuals involved in reentry, as well as workforce development, either from an unemployed or underemployed or retraining perspective, to take advantage of this window of opportunity that provides livable wages with benefits with a short period of training. As many of you know, who've been strapped with college debt, you can go 4 years of college and not make $60,000 or $70,000, but be strapped with over $100,000 worth of student loans. So here's an opportunity for an at-risk population to take advantage of a Roads to Work program. And what we're trying to do with this pilot program is to demonstrate the opportunities that are available. And what we're going to do is to identify, working with Impact, provide a soft skills training component where these individuals who have not been historically engaged with kind of a normal budgeting process will have individuals that will help them with their individual, personal, or family budgets. Because let's face it, making $50,000 to $60,000 to $70,000, that's $1,000 to $1,200 a week. Again, you're going to need some help in terms of being able to manage those funds. And what we're trying to do is to get ahead of the curve and identify resources that can help, the wraparound services that can help these individuals once they become gainfully employed to really stay gainfully employed and be able to take advantage of some of the wraparound services like job coaching, transportation, child care, those kinds of things, where we'll be working with Impact to help to identify some of those barriers that will keep them from being successful. So again, there's a soft skills component, a hard skills component, and then we'll track these individuals and we'll report the results back to you from this pilot, with hopes that this will be convincing enough that there's a real opportunity. And we work with the trucking industry and transportation industry to place these individuals once they're gone through our program. So they're at the school being recruited as they're actually going through the training program over the 4-week periods.
Great.
So I'll
Thank
take
you.
any questions.
And I am Beth Urban, the Chief Operating Officer at Impact Community Action, and I don't have much more to add. We're excited to be part of this pilot and offer people real opportunities for self-sufficiency. So I think Richard said it best, so I'm going to be short and sweet today.
Thank
So
you.
the pilot goes through September
Yes.
of
30th.
this year,
Yes.
and then we'll be able to see the positions people are having
Yes.
after the training, and how will, after they get the positions, will you still be tracking
Yes.
to see how long they stay in the positions? Because
Yes.
that's,
For the first 12 months, we will be
Yes.
tracking those individuals.
Perfect.
Not just tracking them, we'll be working with those.
You'll be
providing some
working
job
with-
coaching and any kind of assistance to help keep them gainfully employed.
perfect.
Certainly. And then we'll bring those results back to you with the hopes that certainly this pilot program warrants further consideration in the future.
And Commissioner, once this program is completed, we plan to submit the scope of work and the findings to the Innovation Center to do an assessment of the feasibility of taking it full scale into expanding if possible, provided funding is available and there's other opportunities.
Right.
Yes, because again, this supports goal number 3 in the
I know.
poverty blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd add is that, one, I'm excited about this, a long time coming in terms of this partnership, and so I'm glad to see it finally sort of really shaping up in the way we meant for it to. But then also, I like the soft skill part is something I'm really excited about, because often it's not the technical training, sometimes it's showing up on time, showing up in a proper way, and various things that can sometimes set folks back in their career or job hunt. And then I also just wanted to point out, I mean, this is a really good add-on to what we're doing with Building Futures and the partnership we have with the Urban League and Impact historically, and I know Dorsey Hager's in the room, who's been a big partner in this, and so this is real impact work, in my opinion, and so grateful to have you as a partner, grateful to, or looking forward to the outcomes here. So thank you. And then, Director, I like what you said about evaluating it for bigger scale, and so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 465-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 465-19 has been adopted. Resolution 466-19.
Thank you.
Approving a subaward agreement with Impact Community Action for closeout activities associated with the Building Futures Pre-Apprenticeship Program pilot in the amount of $175,000.
Commissioners, back in November 2017, we launched the pilot under the agreement with Impact that covered the Building Futures program. Impact will complete all pilot phase activities and be reimbursed for the training and supportive services provided the first 3 cohorts through May of this year. During the pilot, 50 students completed the pre-apprenticeship training and earned industry-recognized credentials. The graduating students entered various union apprenticeships, including the laborers, iron workers, insulators, sheet metal workers, and carpenter unions. Those entering apprenticeships earned hourly wages from $16 to $27 an hour. The total agreement is $175,000 for the time period of January 1st through May 31st, 2019. And as you all remember, Commissioners, this program again is a closeout of Impact. We've considered Impact one of our strong partners in the community. That is why we are partnering with them for the Words of Work program. However, we're moving Building Futures out of the pilot phase into programmatic phase, and this resolution will close out that contract. Pending any questions, we would ask for your approval of this resolution.
I'm just looking for something. Hold on 1 second.
Director, how many cohorts have we done now?
We've done 3, Commissioners. We're going to do 4 and 5. 4 will start in the second week of July. Late to mid-July, and then the 5th one will start in August. The Urban League has begun screening individuals working with the our friends in the union, and they're going to actually come up after once the next resolution is read.
Good.
All right, I see it now. 1 second. Okay. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 466-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 466-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 467-19, approving a subaward agreement with Columbus Urban League for the Building Futures Pre-Apprenticeship Program in the amount of $434,942.67.
Commissioners, this will mark the formal launch of the Building Futures program. The Columbus Urban League will partner with the Columbus Central Ohio Construction and Building Trades Council to oversee 12-week apprenticeship program, which will blend the soft skills and trade-specific training. The partners will build upon lessons learned over the course of pilot phase to support 2 training cohorts, approximately 15 to 20 individuals per cohort, for a total of 40 through the end of the federal fiscal year. The cohorts will be staggered, and participants will receive approximately 240 hours of training in addition to case management and supportive services through the 12-week period. Following the completion of the training, they will continue to provide coaching and supportive services as they are placed into their apprenticeship program. And Commissioners, this again is one of the programs that supports the Poverty Blueprint under the Innovation Center. Goal number 3, increasing relevant training for credentials that meet local demand with employer commitments to hire and promote. And again, short-term action step, expand publicly funded apprenticeship, earn to learn programs. The tentative start date is, again, in the end of July. The second one will be in August. Today we have with us our leaders from the Building Futures program, Stephanie Hightower, and the union trades, Dorsey Hager, Julie, and I can't even think of his name right now. Andy, thank you. I didn't have coffee this morning, Andy. If you would like for them to come to talk about the partnership, they are here.
We're not going to have you guys in the room and not give you the microphone. We'll never hear the end of that.
That would never work. Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm going to behave this morning, President Brown, Commissioners Boyce, and Commissioner O'Grady, and Administrator Wilson. I'm just really going to be very brief and say thank you. Thank you for changing the narrative in this community around poverty. Thank you for believing in how we move people to the middle class, and that's what apprenticeship programs do. This is about wealth creation in our community. This is about really changing that narrative. So I want to say thank you to your visionary work, to the work of Director Bivens and her team for creating these kinds of opportunities for those under-resourced individuals. We're going to put those supportive services around them. We already know that the model works. And so what we're going to do is take it to the next level so you can continue to go around the country and talk about the wonderful work that this county is doing to really help people move to the middle class. So thank you very much. And I'm going to let Dorsey talk about I went into the program yesterday. We had about 27 people show up yesterday for class. People were excited. This is just the initial screening. So again, we know this program works, and we're really excited about being a part of the unions and finally just being able to work with them. I might even go back, see if I can get one of those apprenticeship jobs too.
Commissioners, before Dorsey speaks, I really want to make sure that we acknowledge my colleague, Director Shimmer. He is a partner in this as well, not just with dollars, but with efforts and with all the work and conversations we've had about this program. I just want to let you know we appreciate you, Director Shimmer, as well as everyone else who has worked on this program.
Thank you.
And before I forget, because I always do, I want to thank Stephanie and Arthur Hurst, who are both here. You heard from Stephanie. Really looking forward to working with the Urban League and their partnership. I want to thank Andy and Julie Maciejewski, who are here. Joy wouldn't attempt their last name, but I did it. I won't spell it, but I'll say it. And also Leland Bass, program director, doing a great job with the screening and intake. But Julie, Andy, and Leland are really the ones who carry the water and move the ball down the field. I'm just the one who gets to come up here and talk to you. And I want to thank you all for funding this, because I think it's important in the community. And I was driving in today and I was thinking about some of the things I was going to talk about, and I'm going to start off with numbers. And I know numbers kind of bore people, but I'm going to start off with numbers. For the year 2018, the Columbus Building Trades, our 18 unions, our 14 trades, our 18,000 members, our over 2,000 contractors had one of the best years that we've ever had. We worked a little over 5.8 million hours. So what does that translate into? That translates into over $45 million into health and welfare benefits, translates into over $56 million in pensions and annuities, and equally, if not more important, it translates into $4.1 million in training dollars. These are all contributions that our members, the employees of these contractors, agree to take off of their check to supplement, to reimburse back into training, for one, to help apprentices so that way they're on that workforce development model so they can move up and become journey people, estimators, superintendents, project coordinators, even owners someday. But the pension and welfare benefits are just as important as well, because it guarantees that somebody, if they get hurt, they can go to the hospital, they can go to the doctor, they can take care of their families, and the pension and annuity benefits come into play so they can retire with dignity and respect, no burden on the taxpayer, no burden on the community in which we live in, so they can continue to take care of their family and stuff. And this is very important. I think this is what the county is trying to do, and we're glad to be a partner with you on this. Really appreciate you including, from a personal standpoint, myself on the Franklin County Community Inclusion Team, which we talk a lot about the Franklin County Jail, the Forensic Science Center. Notice I didn't say morgue that time, Commissioner Boyce, so I'm learning how to say Forensic Science Center. So those multi-syllable words, morgue's much easier. But we're having a lot of conversations. And like I said in here a couple years ago when we talked about the MOU on the Correction Center, this is just one spoke in the wheel. A lot of our members are looking at 35 and 40-year careers. And in the building trades, we don't hire for a specific job. And I think finally, Art and I were just talking about this in the back of the room. He was in the meeting with me yesterday and with Joy. I think members of the community are starting to realize that, we're having people come through Building Futures that are graduating, that are getting life skills, that are getting these great wraparound services from our community partner, and they're able to walk right into our apprenticeship programs and be placed on a job. It's not always a jail. It's not always a forensic science center. It may be Google, maybe Facebook, but they're walking onto these projects where they're on that path to the middle class and they have that opportunity in front of them. And some of them that are taking advantage of that opportunity are absolutely incredible. Just a couple updates, and I won't use names, but we had a young man that was homeless, no vehicle, started the program, completed it in 12 weeks with the rest of his class, was fortunate to be placed with the laborers union, went out on a very large project, and 2 weeks after that had a serviceable car, not a brand new one, but a nice serviceable car to get back and forth to work, and a lease on a 2-bedroom apartment. So he went from homeless to middle class in 14 weeks. I'm going to touch on what Stephanie talked about here in a second. This is why our community partners are so important and why the mentoring at the building trades, local unions, and the apprenticeships, and also the wraparound services are important. We had another person who came through the program, had never made more than $8 an hour, went on to a project, was fortunate enough that that project was working 7 days a week, took full advantage of it. The first paycheck this person got a week later, came down, spoke to Leland, basically said, I have this check for $1,550. 1 week's pay. What am I going to do with this? Leland gave him better ideas what to do with it than I would have given him, but he took care of it and he did very well. So I just want to reiterate, these things that we talk about, prevailing wage, project labor agreements, community benefit agreements, the memorandum of understanding, the fair contracting language that you all use here that really put an emphasis on apprenticeship and workforce development, health and welfare, pensions and annuity, is helping us to continue to diversify the building trades programs and continue these pre-apprenticeship programs. I just want to tell you thank you so much and for letting us be a solution and helping with poverty here in Franklin County.
And diversity. The diversity of the candidates that are coming through, commissioners, as we, I'm gonna stop talking after this. When you started this program, I believe Christian Boyce sat down with a group of community leaders, with our county administrator, and there was a concern in the community regarding diversity in that field.
Sure.
I believe as you look across the landscape of who is graduating from this program, those barriers, those myths are being broken down. It is very diverse, so we appreciate the fact as we continue on with the poverty blueprint and talking about racism, implicit bias. Sometimes there's some things we assume that are not true. Some things are, but we can work on those things. But I appreciate your efforts in this. Thank you.
When we talked about ways to really do meaningful and impactful work to get people out of a poverty situation into middle-class jobs that are sustainable, union jobs are certainly the way to a middle-class career with benefits, with good benefits, with good living wage jobs, with pathways that can take you to many places. And I think people just don't even in this community fully appreciate what that means. They're beginning to, and I think it's wonderful, and I'm so honored and proud that we have this program, as we do with some of our other programs, to give pathways for people that are not the ones that people would necessarily think we do. But they're workable, they're good jobs and good pathways for careers. And that's what it is. And that's what we do here.
I'll just add that, the best social service is a good paying job. And I can remember growing up for most of my childhood in a tough environment. And in about the 11th grade, my mom got a job at the post office. And we got, health care benefits and dental benefits and a good pay. And it seemed like we hit the lottery. It changed our lives. And so I really understand when you speak of the young man who had got this first paycheck and wasn't quite sure what to do with it. But at the end of the day, the moral of that story is it's life-changing. And And that's what we're doing, and that's what this investment means. And I joined Commissioner Brown and O'Grady, I know, in saying that this is the work that really makes you smile and feel like you're making a difference as an elected official. And so thank you for being on the ground with it and being the clinicians as a part of implementing. So great work. If there are no further comments or questions.
Just one comment. I'm glad to know that we're starting cohorts 4 and 5 soon. I'll feel so much better as time goes by, and we're starting cohorts 15 and 16 and 24 and 25, as time goes by, because I feel like we're making an impact now, but I'll really feel like we're making an impact then.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 467-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 467-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 468-19, review a petition to annex 0.664 plus or minus acres from Pleasant Township to the City of Columbus, case number annex -10-19.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Franklin County Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 0.664 acres from Pleasant Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 2900 Norton Road. That's east of Norton, south of Johnson, west of Big Run South, and north of Grove City Road. This petition was filed by agent and attorney Jackson Reynolds, 3 of Smith & Hale, who is in attendance if you have any questions, on behalf of the property owners George and Ann Shaner. 15% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 1452-2019 on June 3, 2019, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and a zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in Section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 468-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 468-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 469-19, authorizing a contract with Virtual Case Manager for web-based case management software license through the fiscal year 2018 SAMHSA Medication Assisted Treatment Grant Program in the amount of $2,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Melissa Pearson on behalf of the Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programs. As you're aware, our office is the recipient of several federal grant programs intended to reduce opioid-related overdose deaths, decrease recidivism, and improve individual-level outcomes for justice-involved individuals. By purchasing a web-based digital case management system, it's going to allow our staff to better collect, track, monitor, and manage case management services in a uniform, standardized, and confidential platform. The term of the contract is 12 months, and funding will be supported through our SAMHSA Medication-Assisted Treatment Grant. Pending any questions, we respectfully request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 469-19.
Second.
Moved and second voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution 469-19 has been adopted.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you. Purchasing.
Resolution number 470-19, authorizing Gordon Flesh Company Incorporated to perform consulting services to support the moving of the data center print jobs to the Purchase Department print shop in the amount of $96,131.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Balanier, Interim Director of the Purchasing Department. This resolution requests approval of a contract with Gordon Flesh, as stated, to provide services in support of the print shop transition. The work will be performed in 3 phases, with Phase 1 being a proof of concept, which will include the programming of templates and workflow for 3 documents. Phase 2 is the heavy lift in the scope, where all documents will be programmed into 88 identified templates and placed into print production. And then Phase 3 will provide training to county staff. The contract cost is firm and fixed and will be billed upon the completion and acceptance of each of the 4 milestones. The scope is scheduled to be completed by the end of 2019, followed by additional coordination and transition activities performed by the county into Q1 of 2020. Pending any questions, I would recommend approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, for adoption of 470-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 470-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 471-19, approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,388,356.99.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks approval of 83 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. The resolution includes 15 eligible POs totaling approximately $75,000. These are POs for goods and services that have a higher likelihood of participation by small and emerging businesses. Of these POs, 9 were awarded to SEBEs totaling $68,010, which is 60% of the eligible PO volume and 90% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 471-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 471-19 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners, and we start with a public hearing. If the clerk could please read the public hearing notice.
Adoption of the fiscal year 2020 tax budget for Franklin County.
Okay, so we are going to open up the public hearing on this resolution. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak, please raise your hand. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing and go right to the resolution.
Resolution number 472-19, authorizing the adoption of the fiscal year 2020 tax budget for Franklin County.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Chleric with the Office of Management and Budget. This resolution would authorize the fiscal year 2020 tax budget for Franklin County. Pursuant to Section 5705.28 of the revised code, the tax budget for the next succeeding fiscal year must be approved by July 15th. The tax budget is a financial plan for the operations of the next fiscal year. It identifies how much money is expected from local, state, and federal sources, the anticipated carryover fund balances, and how much is needed to carry out government functions in the next fiscal year. The budget is submitted to the County Budget Commission and is required for receipt of allocations from the local government fund and of the various property tax levies in the upcoming year. This year's 2020 tax budget does include an allocation for a 27th pay period. This occurs usually every 11 to 12 years. As well as transfers from the 27th pay reserve back to the general fund to cover the cost of that. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 472-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Resolution number 472-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 473-19, a resolution to consent to the issuance of parking garage improvement revenue bonds by the Franklin County Convention Facilities Authority.
Commissioners, previously the board had approved a memorandum of understanding on May 21st regarding the issuance of $6 million in bonds by the Convention Facilities Authority for the Ohio Center parking garage. This resolution would authorize the issuance of that, and this authorization for consent is required by some of the lease, sublease from previous debt that had been issued by the Convention Facilities Authority. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Yeah, thank you, Director. So just want to be clear, these bonds, the county has no obligation on these bonds. These are the obligation of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We're just, given the resolution, authorizing them to issue the debt instruments.
Correct.
And then have the underwriters in the syndicate been put together for this issuance, or is it just extending on the previous bonds that were issued?
This would be extending, and then these would be the ones purchased by the county treasurer and added to the county's portfolio.
Right, okay. Yeah, no one from the treasurer's office here? Okay.
Bond counsel.
This probably is not a good question for bond counsel, probably more for the treasurer, so, but thank you. What percentage of the portfolio are invested in local bonds like these? Does that change that equation? Because if you recall our last advisory investment board meeting, I keep raising that as an issue that we need to continue to watch. We don't want to be over leveraged in local bonds, and I know we have a ratio we're working at, and so what does this do to that ratio?
I believe it would be near 5%, but I can confirm that once this is placed, I can confirm with the treasurer's office to get the exact percentage of the portfolio this would be.
Yeah, it's not a critical issue, but it's something that I think we should be observant and very deliberate about. And so, again, I just want to state that because, I've stated my concern. So if there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 473-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 473-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 474-19, authorizing the transfer of the operation and duties of the Department of Homeland Security and Regional Communications to the Franklin County Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Commissioners, this resolution will authorize the county administrator to enter into the memorandum of understanding, as well as the appropriation adjustments and reallocation of funds necessary to effectuate the transfer. The Executive Committee for Emergency Management had approved this at their meeting on June 5th for Director Young to sign. The MOU was worked in conjunction with Nick Soulis in the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, as well as Director Young. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no further comments or questions, or any questions or comments, move for passage or adoption of 474-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 474-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 475-19, appointing Jane Dixon and Raphael Anthony Malbrew to the Community Advisory Committee for the Franklin County Department of Animal Care and Control.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. As you know, we have 2 vacancies on the Advisory Committee for the Department of Animal Care and Control. These would fill these vacancies. Mr. Denson is the Director of Admissions, Recruitment, and Diversity at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Ohio State. And Dr. Malbrew is a veterinarian and also professor. Pending any questions, would recommend approval of the resolution.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator Janis. I just want an update. How's the advisory board committee meetings going? Has there been any, positive progress in terms of just the overall meeting, considering why it was created?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Commissioner. Appreciate the question. The most recent meeting was about a month and a half, 2 months ago. They've been in the process of finalizing their comments that they post out publicly in response to that meeting. I'm actually scheduled to meet with the chair of the committee next week, so I look forward to getting briefing on with her on how everything's going. But it's my understanding it's going well, and the engagement between the committee and the staff of the department is going well.
Great, keep us posted.
Will do, sir.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption of 475-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution 475-19 has been adopted. Resolution 476-19, appointing Rob Gardner to the Workforce Development Board pursuant to the requirements of the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act 2015.
Commissioners, this is a vacancy to be filled from the resignation of Steve Lipster, who was a tremendous board member over many years, and Secretary of the Board. This is a required appointment to the board that must be a labor/apprenticeship slot, and Mr. Gardner represents the Sheet Metal Workers Local 24 and is on the Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. So, pending any questions, would recommend approval.
Eric, is this a county appointee or a city county appointee?
This one is a county appointee,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
If there are no further comments or questions, move for adoption.
Well, second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution 476-19 has been adopted. Resolution 477-19, appointing Desiree Polk Bland to the Columbus and Franklin County Local Food Board.
Commissioners, Ms. Polk Bland, is Executive Dean of Student Affairs at Columbus State Community College, and she oversees their various food security activities for the college. Pending any questions, would recommend approval.
Go to point D.
All right, if there are no if there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 477-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 477-19 has been adopted. Resolution number 478-19, appointing Riazi to the Franklin County Planning Commission.
Commissioners, this appointment is traditionally a City of Columbus seat on the County Planning Commission. This appointment was recommended by the Mayor of the City of Columbus. Ms. Riazi is an administrator in the Department of Development and Land Redevelopment, the Land Redevelopment Division. Pending any questions, would recommend approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for adoption of 478-19.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting, Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Resolution number 478-19 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Any journalizations? We are adjourned.
They don't have to be.
They don't have.
Oh, okay.